Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. And it's going to be a really cool episode because it is, so as I say, Doctor Who month because Doctor Who is coming back for the new series this month. And I'm speaking in future tense because it hasn't started yet in the time zone I'm at. But yeah, I'm joined with Remy, and we're going to be talking about Doctor Who. No certain aspect of Doctor Who, just Doctor Who in general. So we can talk about anything. Really. So yeah,
I've got a bit of a
yeah. So Remy, would you mind if I haven't done it already? Is there anything else you want to say, like to introduce yourself?
So hi, I'm Remy. As some of you will know me online as Remykin underscore. I am a cosplayer. I'm a cosplayer and like massive Doctor Who fan. I recently did a 13th Doctor cosplay. If you haven't seen it, you should totally check it out because it's really cool. And I yeah, I'm here, and I'm
Yeah.
happy to be here.
Yep. You're that happy to be here. You've got your 15th Doctor cosplay on.
13.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I had to do it. Like, I had to go all in. No, because I don't even think he knows, but my drink's the Doctor Who glass.
Oh yeah.
So I am committing to
The
this.
task.
This has to happen.
Yeah. It's it has to. It has to. So
Has to.
it's the 13th Doctor like your Doctor then, like your fave.
No, not really. Actually, my 13th Doctor is 12. No,
Okay.
my favorite Doctor, not 13th. Oh my god. Sorry, my favorite Doctor is 12.
Okay.
Um, I got into the series through Matt Smith's era, so I'd say that 11 is sort of like. So the way that I always read it is that someone has their doctor and then they have their favorite doctor. And like their doctor is the one that sort of introduced them to the series. Their favorite doctor is, their favorite doctor. So I'd say Matt Smith was my doctor. Um, my favorite doctor though is Peter Capaldi,
Yeah.
like the Scotsman.
Yeah. Too many Scots as doctors. Um.
Yeah, many Scots.
Yeah. Many. Many.
Got
Many.
another one with the shooty as well. Fun fact: he's Scottish.
Yeah. You got half of the doctors more or less are Scottish, I think.
Yeah,
Um. But I guess for me, I'd say my doctor was the one that got me into it was Ninth Doctor. Um.
yeah,
And then my doctor is I think David Tennant. I think 10 and
that's fair.
14.
You've got a level tenant.
Yeah. But I do like Matt Smith as well. He's up there. But with David Tennant, like them three doctors are my probably the top three.
Yeah,
Um, I can't really rank Shooty Getter at the moment, but I like what I've seen so far.
yeah.
Very exciting.
So for me, I really do like 13. I do like her. I do like her storylines a lot, and I do think that Jodie Whittaker is just an amazing actress. And then also like Yorkshire, I'm based in Yorkshire, so like that's cool. I do like her. I do love her series, but it's just Peter Capaldi sort of stole my heart in series 8.
Mm,
He just sort of embodies the role with like this. I feel like the thing with Peter Capaldi, which sort of like made me sort of drawn to him more, was he sort of takes on the role with this real unique twist to it in a way, because like usually the Doctor's very bouncy and energetic, and of course I know with Nine that's not the case, but he's still like quite witty, but he's still like fun, and you still see him being quite happy. 12 like has this sort of like this sarcasm and like wit about him, which I really like, and it sort of brings this real sort of unique twist on it. I also just I don't know why I was just drawn to the guy who's really miserable all the time, but I
yeah.
can't complain really. I think he's really good.
Yeah. Top Doctor was good. Um,
Yeah.
I like my favorite series probably the one with Bill in it with the 12th Doctor.
Yeah, series 10.
Yeah.
I quite liked his opening series, to be fair. I really liked series 8. Series 9 for me, the start of it I struggled with because I found a lot of the stories to be a bit more like fillery and not that great. However, Face the Raven. Oh, that hair! Clara's my favourite companion as well. I see, I have a clear favouritism towards a certain era of the show. But Clara is my favourite. And that stung. It's like putting salt in a paper cut. No, it's salt in a wound. Salt in the wound. I was just
Yeah.
like. However, Jenna Coleman, I absolutely praise her for her acting on that because I sobbed a lot.
Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah.
It was very sad. Like what
I
happened.
don't think there's not a companion's death. I have cried at every single companion's departure.
Hmm.
Like, I get too attached and then they're like, bye. And I'm like, no, no, please stay, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the I don't know. Right, they are all sad in their own way. I think it made the Claras
Yeah.
less sad when they came back and got her in the
Yeah.
next episode. I think it was you saw her again.
Yeah, it was Hell. It was Hellbend, which was the series finale. I didn't like that they actually brought her back. I get why they did it for like the story purposes, but I really, to be honest, it just confused me. It was like she's alive, but she doesn't have a pulse, and like as a science person, I feel personally offended by that. like to
Yeah.
be alive is to have a beating heart. Clara,
It,
stop defying science, please.
it
Please.
didn't make a lot of sense, really, did it?
Not really. It's like I think back to it now, and it's like I've watched through the series like I'd say about 3 to 4 times now, and I'm like, I still don't get it. Like Heaven Sent, amazing piece of I wanted to call it theatre then film, just great episode, great bit of writing. But Hellbent just like ruined it. It was well, not ruined it, but it felt like it took away from a lot of it because it was like this was just this really amazing piece of writing, this amazing piece of film, and then Hellbent came in, and it was just like, oh, well, that just doesn't make any sense anymore.
No. A lot of Stephen Moffat's stories, some of them were very complicated, like to understand.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was reflected a lot in I think it was series 6 of Matt Smith's,
Yeah.
where it was the whole thing of River being born to like kill the doctor, and then there was like this whole twist, and it was like I'm gonna just defy that, and it was the moment when they revealed that River was Amy's daughter, which was when it just sort of like my head, I felt like it bent my head. It's just what in the oh.
I think it started getting confusing in the first series with the Pandorica. It all leading up
Yeah,
to the Pandorica, and then it was confusing because at that time a lot of people young, I'd say, like they've just finished watching series 4 and they want to continue watching it, and then it was just confusing. Like you see Amy in the Pandorica now, and then it was all very confusing.
yeah. I do absolutely applaud Stephen Moffat as a writer. I do think he is such an amazing writer, and I feel like he did really well. But there were some things that I would appreciate that he changed. First one being, can you please translate all the stories from Stephen Moffat language to English? Because I don't know what was going on.
Yeah,
It took me at least, I think, around 3 watches of all the Pandorica stuff for me to get it.
yeah, it was just so confusing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good. He's a very good writer. But there were some stories that were very good, like the Day of the Doctor was lovely.
Yeah, Day of the Doctor was great. My main one that I really like from Stephen Moffat is The Empty Child.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that is amazing. Like The Empty Child was ironically actually the episode which scared me off Doctor Who as a kid because I was shown it. I forgot by who, but by someone. And I remember watching through it when I was around, I think I was like 6 or 7. And it was the scene at the end where the guy in the hospital, like, of course, he had the virus. Well,
Oh
I
yeah,
say
he's
virus, but
changed.
yeah, and he changed. That scared the living crap out of me as a kid. And I remember going to school the next day, and there was a kid with a cough, and I was so scared because I was just like, please, please no, please no, please no.
Yeah,
It was not a moment. But
it was
then I
scary.
went back and watched it again, and I'm like, this is just amazing. But I think this is coming from someone who, like, now I have a very much appreciation of horror. I'm not as terrified of everything.
Yeah.
I'm not a child anymore.
Yeah,
So
I love horror now.
mentally,
Yeah,
mentally still a child.
yeah. That scared me too. Like when watching that, I was
Yeah,
thinking, it's like it's like you're being sick, isn't it? It's like you've been
yeah,
sick, and then you turn into this creature. Um,
yeah. It was the violent coughing and the scar on the back of the hand, and something which I find really funny is when I rewatched the episode, I had a really bad chest infection, and I had you can't really see it anymore, but you know it's on the back of this hand. I have a scar on the back of this hand, and it was really ironic because it's just the scar on the back of the hand and the coughing. What did I have when I watched it? A scar on the back of my hand, and I was coughing because I had a chest infection. I was just this was it was so ironic. It was brilliant. But I still rewatch it like again and again every now and then. Also because it was a great introduction of Jack Harkness, and I love Jack Harkness as a character. I still need to watch Torchwood. I'm gonna write it down to do that because otherwise I'm not gonna do it.
have you not watched Torchwood before?
I have not yet. It's been on the watch list for
Yeah,
several months.
I only watched it during the pandemic. Um, and it's good. It's good.
I shall probably start watching it probably after this podcast because otherwise I will forget.
Yeah, yeah. Watch the first episode after. Um, so another scene, you know, I think the Ood episode with Donna and the 10th Doctor in it. Um, that like where the scene where at the end, like I think the professor drank the drink that the Ood was supplying him, and then he
And
changed
he
into
became
an
an
Ood.
Ood.
Yeah, he changed into
Oh,
one.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was scary. And then the Doctor just stares at the Ood like nothing's happened.
It was just like a flashback. It was like it was like that side happening, and it was just I feel like I'm having flashbacks to when Christopher Eccleston was the Doctor and was standing in front of a very old man in a hospital.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd argue the Empty Child one was more because like the thing about the Empty Child as well is that they made it like really eerie and like creepy because they never revealed it all until like the Doctor dances, which sort
yeah.
of added this real eeriness to it, I believe. The scene in the hospital during the Doctor dances, though, no, it's during one of the episodes. It's like where he oh yeah, it's during Doctor dances. He walks into a room and he turns the light on and like all of them just sit up at the same time. I can never not like jump at that. It freaks me out.
Yeah, they all jump out of their bed and then just look, sit up. Um,
I applaud all the people who like the extras who wear the infected because I can't imagine having a gas mask sort of glued to your face. I'm trying to think of how they did it because I watched the confidential on it. Like having it sort of glued to your face for I'm gonna presume what would have been around 4 to 5 hours filming, probably. Yeah, probably isn't fun. I could not wear a mask for more than an hour during COVID. It would make me break out in a sweat. So to wear a full mask, not be able to take it off, and have to run around, I applaud thou.
wearing a gas mask just makes it all foggy inside. So, um,
It's maybe like terrified of gas masks though. I went to Belgium for a little bit on a history trip, and we went to a Hunters Lodge Museum in Ypres, and you know old time war stuff, World War One, World War II. We walked into a room, and on one of the walls, it was just like the evolution, like all gas masks.
mm.
Woo! I do not like that. It was like, yeah, that's cool. Bye.
Yeah, you just imagine back to series one of The Empty Child.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was waiting till I heard someone go, "Are you my mummy?"
Yeah,
It would have just been this moment of. I
I'm scared.
don't want to do this. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there's so many. I like those two-part episodes though.
Yeah, I like it as well because I feel like when they try to do one episode that's really long, it just gets really bulky, and then after a bit, I'm just like, I'd rather watch 2 separate episodes of one story than have to watch one episode in multiple sittings. It was like Peter Capaldi's introduction episode. I think it was like an hour and a quarter. That was kind of rough, but it sort of like kept it going, and it didn't make it. I only watched it through in 2 sittings, which is good for me because usually I end up watching them in about 5. Like I can do 10 minutes and then I get distracted or I remember I need to do something.
Yeah, I think that first episode was in the cinema, with Peter Capaldi's, which was
Nice.
unusual for Doctor Who, as it was just a normal episode. But I don't know, like that. I did like the first episode that it was
I
in.
did enjoy it as well.
It just took me a bit longer to get used to Peter Capaldi as the Doctor.
Yeah, I feel like there was something which was both amazing but also really weird was the fact that they had to was the fact that you had to jump from Matt Smith, who was really like really eccentric and always talking. Oh my throat! And like always talking and being really like hey there and everyone, really just bouncy and bubbly. To Peter Capaldi, who was just more like really analytical and like witty and sarcastic and miserable.
Yeah,
But we love that.
yeah. I remember when he was the president, Peter Capaldi, like the Doctor,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Vote for an idiot," and then Kate's like, "All right, it's you." That was
Yeah, I
funny.
remember that.
That was funny.
I thought all the Zygon stuff with Peter Capaldi was really good as well.
Yeah, it was good with the Zygons. They did them storylines really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I liked it more going into the end of series, like Pit Capaldi's second series, and then start of his last one.
Yeah.
Because I can see the difference in him from the first series. The first series he looked like really new, quite shy.
Yeah.
Um, and then the next two he kind of got into it, which is it's a shame that he could it would have been good if he'd done maybe one more. I think he would have been good to do another one.
Yeah. I know this sounds really weird and almost, I feel like it almost sounds a little bit creepy, but my whole thing is I just watch the evolution of his hair. Because, like, his hair just gets longer.
Yeah,
So I love the fact that they didn't change that, though, because I feel like with 12, they let there sort of be inconsistencies in his appearance, which I feel like almost built a bit more on the character, because I know that 11, every episode, apart from when he changed his like his jacket and then went to the purple
mm.
in 7B, like it was always the same tweed jacket, the same bow tie, it was all the same. Bow ties are cool, just all the same. But like they let there be more inconsistencies. And then also something which I actually quite like about 13 was when they let her change her jacket from like the grey one to the blue one, and the fact that if you like in a few of the episodes she changes her t-shirt from the burgundy one to the blue one, which I have. So like I like it when they do that, because it, like, I know that the Doctor of course is a Time Lord, but I feel like it presents them as more human in a way.
yeah. It's good that
I just
they
think it's
changed
nice.
their clothes a little bit.
Yeah, I just think it's nice because also you gotta think like those clothes are probably gonna need a wash after a bit.
Yeah.
So like yeah, you gotta think about it literally as well.
Yeah. Like the 15th Doctor's gonna have, I think, new costume every episode by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they do it with Nishiri, because I feel like I've seen the Ncuti Gatwa in other things before, and I think he is a really good actor, and I think he's gonna absolutely soak it up as the Doctor. I think he's gonna do brilliantly. But I feel like for me, a lot of it's probably going to center around his stories and whether it can sort of carry through the slightly longer and more sort of hard, well, not harder, but sort of like the longer, yeah, I'm going to say harder, like harder to understand stories. Because don't we have Russell T Davies back now, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
If they might throw in like maybe one story that's a bit longer, and I feel like we're going to see sort of how he is the Doctor when it hits one of those longer stories, and it's going to possibly take a bit more time for like the audience to understand.
Yeah.
I am so excited to see the Beatles episode though.
Yeah. That one's very exciting.
I'm really excited for it. I know someone who worked on the production team for it, so they were like sort of giving me little hints of the set before it was released. So
Mm.
it's
That's
someone
exciting.
who which is it was really interesting actually, because I want to go into film and media. So, well, it's either film and media or stage management. I almost said Spanish then. Management. Because I'm just like, I feel like I've just been destined to control other people.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me sound like a supervillain at all,
Yeah.
but
Not.
if it works, it works.
Yeah.
I'm
Control
not
the
a villain. I'm
Cybermen.
just a I'm not a villain. I'm just a manager.
Yeah. That's very good. That's very good. Um, but yeah, I think the episodes for the new series will be, I don't know, longer than 45 minutes. I
I
reckon.
think they will be.
I reckon.
Yeah, I think they will be.
Because I think the Beatle episodes it's quite early on. I think it's like the second episode or something. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know Mel's gonna be in it, but I don't think she'll be in it towards the end. I think she'll be in it like last minute, like for the
Like one
finale.
off.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm excited for Mel to be back.
yeah. I like doing the 60th. She's good.
Yeah, I thought she was epic. To be honest, I thought everyone in the 60th was epic. There's no one in the 60th that I really sort of disliked, really.
Well, what about that droid
So,
thing at the unit? They have this like droid. I can't remember what it's called.
oh, is it like the um? I know what you mean. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I forgot.
I thought it was funky. I thought it was cool. Funky little robot. Love that.
Yeah,
Best character of the 60th specials is the robot that's walking across that spaceship.
yeah. It is good. There was. Did you have like a favorite episode for the 60th?
For me, it was the giggle. 100%. Loved it. Neil Patrick Harris knocked out of the park. I loved it. Spice Girls. Look, I feel like I'm slightly won over because there was a huge song and dance number to the Spice Girls, but it was great.
That was good. It was funny.
Yeah, I feel like Neil Patrick Harris just really sort of knocked out of the park, and this was coming from someone who never really knew the toy maker before. He sort of brought this real fresh take on the character, and I also feel like the way that they led it on from Wild Blue Yonder, and they just left it on this cliffhanger of just everyone's going insane.
That was
Bring back
good.
I thought it was just great.
That was good. I think. I think if there wasn't the first two episodes, I think that would have been enough anyway, just to have that
Yeah.
episode for the 60th.
It would have been cool if they tried to do like a toy maker trilogy, but I don't think that would have happened. I also feel like that possibly could have led to a few like holes here and there when it came to like continuity and some other things, because like the character is cool, but there's probably a lot that we need to explain because a lot of his original episodes have been lost.
Yeah, I think.
So it could get like really information heavy and not as story based fun. David Tennant being David Tennant.
Yeah, I think what they could have done was maybe do if he was in each of the episodes, they could have done like a game per episode. So he could have been in it, maybe just saying your first game is to against Beat the Meep, and then it's on the ship. They could have done something like that, but
True.
I did think the only thing about Wild Billy Under is that the Doctor thought just because there was salt, he put salt down. He
Yeah.
thought that was the reason that the toy maker's it. I think that was a bit lame. To think that just because you put salt um down, um, it was a bit of a silly reason. The toy maker's there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and like with the giggle, the only thing I'd say about it was the end. You know, with the
Yeah.
balls with the ball you got to defeat the toy maker by playing a game of catch.
I thought that was really nicely done, though.
It was nicely done, but it just felt a bit too easy. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
But then again, it does kind of link back to the ball is the first game of all. That was a terrible accent. But
Yeah, ballers.
it does link back to that. So I feel like it was like a nice little sort of cyclical thing because I remember watching it for the second time and I was like, oh yeah, he did say that. I just feel like as well it was really well done. However, that was probably the most violent game of catch I've ever watched in my life.
Yeah, because you're not trying to throw it to them, you're trying to chuck it at the ground. So that
It's
they
just
miss it.
it's just I'm on your side.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know David Tennant was that flexible. Um, really, and
Yeah.
he did good.
I have
Um,
mixed feelings on the bi generation. I feel like I'm sort of with a bit of the fandom that felt like there was a different way that they could have done it. And I feel like, to be honest, I would have liked to have seen what they would have done if they had left it really sort of sad. So he did actually, he did get shot. He did regenerate in that moment. Because I would have really liked to see how it could have been done. And maybe there could have been then an extra episode possibly of Nishuti taking down the toy maker on himself. It also would have probably given us a little bit more of an intro to who he was as a doctor, besides
yeah.
just the Church on Ruby Road. Because I do like the Church on Ruby Road, but I feel like it doesn't show a lot of the doctor because it is rather heavily focused on Ruby Sunday, which I'm not complaining about. I think she's lovely, and I think Millie Gibson is brilliant. But
I
because they're
think
so much focused on that and the goblins, I feel like it didn't really show a lot of who Nishuti was.
there wasn't much of him in it really, and I think that's because he wasn't. It was still filming Sex Education, so he wasn't in like the first 20 minutes of it for that reason. And you had these little scenes that he done in different costumes, but I don't think it was the best. I liked it, but it's the best episode in a while, along with the three specials. But I just think it's not my favorite Christmas. If I said that wouldn't be in the top five of my favorite Christmas specials, it would be downer, but not last. But no,
Yeah.
not it's average episode, I'd say. But it was good. It was a good introduction to Ruby.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite Christmas special is probably The Husbands of River Song, but that's just because I was yearning for River Song.
Yeah,
I think River Song is so cool. I love her. I want to be her. I think she's amazing.
yeah. She is
And
amazing.
when she came back, it
She's
was just
lovely.
right. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, she's she's lovely. Person to meet.
I
Um,
hope to meet her someday.
yeah.
I
Uh,
really do.
She's 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 very like calm person. She's a very calm person. Like she asks you if you get something signed, where do you want it to get signed, and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
she's great. Um, but with the bio regeneration, I think it was okay. Uh, I, it was unusual because never you haven't seen that before, and I wouldn't think Shooty would get that. I think it should. I think it. I don't know because Russell said it's that's gonna happen from now on or something. I think he said, but I would want Shooty to regenerate because I just feels like it's nice for the Doctor to say goodbye. But it was okay for David because he already said goodbye before. Um, but in the
Yeah.
past, so that kind of worked for him.
I do get that logic, but I also do feel like that this is probably a little bit of Russell T Davis doing his David Tennant favoritism a little bit because I feel like if we were in the situation of Matt Smith came back for the specials or Eccleston or even Jodie if she had stayed on, I feel like that wouldn't have happened. I feel like it would have been a regeneration, but I feel like because it was David Tennant, it was a bad regeneration. I do get that it was possibly so that he didn't have to say goodbye twice, because then that would make for some great angst.
Hmm.
But like we didn't want the entire fandom in tears. So I both do and don't get it. But I also have the personal theory of this might be a little bit of Tennant favoritism. Not complaining though, I love David Tennant. He's a great guy, he's a goofy guy. I feel like he's great. But like in that situation, it would have been like I would have just preferred the standard regeneration, not the bi generation. I think.
Yeah, because I think he gets a mention in the next series, David Tennant's Doctor, because Rose is going to be. I think Rose is at unit now, um, and probably the 40th Doctor will get a mention, but
Yeah.
it's you just don't know. Like it's a hard one, but it probably I agree. It's probably like so. There's a chance of him coming back again. Um,
Yeah.
and I
Because
think
I feel like
it
he's also
works.
one of the easiest to get a hold of when it comes to Doctor Who because he said himself he loved playing the Doctor, so he'll probably happily come back. But then I know with Matt Smith, he's like branched out and done other things alongside Doctor Who. Eccleston, um, he gave his opinions to coming back on a For the Love of Sci-Fi panel, which by the way, do recommend watching if you haven't. But yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. And Jodie's just like she's just living her best life, doing whatever. I don't know. She's like off the grid almost with a lot of her social media as well. So like it's not as if I can be like, where are you? What are you doing? But like,
you,
yeah. And then Peter Capaldi just doesn't even talk about her, so
you Peter Capaldi is like I'm done with Doctor Who. Like he's been on it. He's not going to go on
yeah.
again.
Is that it? Does he just like want to finish it where he left it?
Which I respect what he's saying because he says I like the idea of you go on it and then you leave. That's the whole point of the show. Like you don't come back all the time, which is right. It is true, but say I think there needs to be like the five doctors or something at some point
Mhm.
with at least five of them. But because the classic Doctor's done it and the new Who Doctors haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
But
I would love for Jodie to be a part of that five, but I'm not sure if she will be. If she's not, I will cry. But I want her to be in it.
yeah, I think Matt Smith needs to be in an episode with Shooty Up though. I think he has to
Matt
maybe
Smith needs
yeah.
to come back. He needs to.
He would like to. Um like yeah, it'd be good. I think him and Shooty work really well because the similarities are that like the personalities are similar with their banter and Shooty can remind you a little bit like him in a way. With
Yeah,
things that he comes out with.
yeah, I see that.
Um, but that sci-fi panel, I almost went to that, but I decided not to
I
because
really wanted to go when I saw that he was announced, and then because of the timing, but then also the venue. I've been to the venue before because I went for it. I went to it for Comic Con Manchester, and what I remember was I went. Of course, this was in the summer, so it was really warm. So I remembered if it's going to be December, it's going to be really cold.
yeah. That's why I
And
didn't
I heard
go.
people who went, and they were like, it was freezing.
Yeah, and I think it was snowing. It was snowing
Because
around that time.
that would have been like a really cool opportunity to get some like sick photos there.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, I didn't go, which in the end I wasn't sad about. Um. Because I done a lot last year anyway with conventions and
Yeah.
uh, but Billie Piper was there. I would have liked to meet her. She's on my list of people to meet for sure. Um, but yeah, for what Chris said, I mean, uh, it yeah, it's laughable, I guess. For the no,
Mm-hmm.
I don't laugh at people who think what they say. I just laugh the way they say it. There's like just the way he was saying it, which is his own business and whatever
Yeah.
happened. Um, but I I think he would be good if he did come back at some point as a doctor.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like if he did come back, it would be nice, it would be cool, but I don't
yeah,
think it's gonna happen.
no, I mean, I think you've got more chance of Peter Capaldi coming back than
Probably, yeah.
yeah. Um, but
Especially with who's the writer at the minute.
yeah, I think Russell will be there for at least another few years.
Yeah.
Another at least 4 series he'll do, and then he'll probably
He's got
hand
like
it
a
on.
firm grip on the series, I think, at the minute.
Yeah,
I
he.
think what'll happen is I think he'll probably do all of Nishuti's, and then I think he'll try to do the next Doctors. But I think if I'm gonna make a prediction, I think he'll do all of Nishuti's, and I think he'll do 1 or 2 seasons of whoever's gonna follow Nishuti, and then I think he'll possibly try and hand it over to someone else.
Yeah,
Hopefully not Chris Chibnall.
yeah,
No offense to Chris Chibnall. Wasn't it that I liked Series 11? It just wasn't great. I do really like Series 11 though.
yeah.
I really like Kablam.
The only thing I don't like about Series 11 is there's no storyline. Like it's
Yeah,
just
it's just a lot of individual things.
yeah.
But I
There was
suppose that's what I sort of liked about it though, because it sort of gave us a series to know the Doctor, I guess,
yeah.
because of course Jodie is the first female Doctor, and I know a lot of people are very much against that. I mean, I completely remember when the internet was rampant with no bras in the TARDIS.
Mm.
But I feel like it gave us a whole series to sort of find out more about who she was, and it also gave us a series to figure out a bit more about the companions as well. But my other thing is, oh my god, why did they give her 3 companions? 2 would have worked, 2 would have been fine. To be honest, I feel like what should have happened is it should have been Yaz and Ryan for Series 11. I've only just started Series 12, so I know that the companions do change. But just regarding Series 11, because I have not watched quite ahead yet, um, regarding that, I feel like it should have just been Yaz and Ryan, and then Graham could have been in for the one-off episodes, and then I feel like it would have been nice if he joined during the Arachnids of the UK episode, which I thought was a great episode, really nice sciencey stuff, but also I don't like spiders. It's a good episode, but also I didn't see a lot of it because spiders.
Yeah,
No.
that was an episode that was spiders in the bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean spiders. I don't know. They're not really a monster, are they? They're just
Yeah, they're not particularly, but I do like. I feel like for me it was quite reminiscent of like the first Dalek episode in a way, because it was that technically the main villain wasn't really the monster per se, it was the Americans.
yeah, the
Because
American.
of course I forgot his name, but he was like the hotel guy. He was all about the stuff, and then of course in the Dalek episode we had Mr. Henry Van Statten. I feel like it sort of had a nice sort of flashback because it was a very similar sort of format. And I don't know, like I personally made that link and it sort of made me go, oh my god, yeah, the first Dalek episode, quite similar, except it was a Dalek and not a massive spider.
Yeah, it was very interesting that episode. I mean, I don't know if they had a warning on that episode to people who are petrified of spiders. I'm not sure if
No,
they
it
did.
did.
I mean,
My other thing was, it was filmed in, is of course a lot of Jodie season was filmed in Sheffield, and I used to live in Sheffield. So a lot of Jodie's seasons for me was just me trying to find where I knew, like where I used to be. It was like, oh, I've been there. I know where that is. Sheffield. Even though I'm not, because I'm not in Sheffield now, obviously. But it's just like it's nice to look through it, I guess, in a way, because it's like a bit of nostalgia rush for me. And of course, like nostalgia often sweetens our opinion on a lot of things, which I feel like glazed over a lot of the crap people say about Series 11 for
yeah,
me. I
yeah,
also, everyone hates the Witchfinders episode. I loved it. I thought it was great. Had some nice gothic horror elements, was really true to the Salem witch trials, and also King James being camp. He was camp, and I loved it.
there were some
10
good
out of 10.
episodes. I like the Rosa Parks one. That one was a good one.
I liked Rosa. I felt like it was a really nice way of telling the story. However, a lot of people argue that a white supremacist isn't a monster, but I would argue that it is. But that's getting slightly political, so I'm going to avoid that.
Yeah, I liked I did like the future of the Judoon series 12. That was like a good episode. But I do think like you said with the people in the TARDIS, there was too many of them, and you just needed like that last series. You didn't Dan did not need to be there at all. I mean, you could just have Yaz on her own, really.
I feel like Yaz and the Doctor would have made just a really good team on their own.
Yeah, you didn't need anyone else. Like Rhyme, I don't know, he was there just because he was there, wasn't
Ryan
he?
was just there. That was my only thing. I feel like Ryan had the most character development in the Rosa episode and also in Kablam. And that was because in the Rosa episode, of course, he was talking about the racism. And then in the Kablam episode, we found out he works in a factory. That was the most character development I think he actually got. I feel like he was sort of a really wasted character because I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of it, I feel like what they did is I feel like they just sort of heavily focused on the fact that he had dyspraxia, which of course is not a problem. Of course, I do not mind disability being in television, but it's just I felt like they just said he's dyspraxic, but then didn't really write anything else around it. Because they didn't even talk about the only real struggle that we see is like him with the bike, but we don't really see anything else sort of around that. We don't see anything. I feel like he feels almost emotionless in a way
yeah.
because he doesn't really have any like, development. He's just there. And I feel like you could have taken him or left him. And to be honest, if he was in that series or if he wasn't, I probably wouldn't have even noticed. Apart from the first episode, because of course he's quite central in that. But apart from that, I feel like if you took him out of series 11, I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like with
But I do still
the
like
tracks,
him.
yeah.
I don't think he's horrendous, but there's so much stuff that could have been done better.
Yeah, like with the dyspraxia, there's so much more than just a bike, a part of that. So they should there's there's so much more to that. And he had an episode with his dad, in it. I think one episode with his dad, and I think that was a Christmas special. And no, not Christmas, New Year's, sorry. But
What about that?
yeah, we didn't see anything else of his dad after that. I don't think it was only in like two
No,
episodes,
I don't think we did. No.
and he disappeared. Um,
Yeah.
and I think he was going to be in the last episode, like the Power of the Doctor, but he didn't. He didn't. I think he was probably asked to come in it, but I think he probably thought I ain't done much in there anyway. I'm not going to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. But I think they're with Jodie. She's a good doctor. I think I liked her as a doctor, and I think it was a shame. It was a shame. I think she could have done something in the 60th. It would have been nice for her to
Yeah,
be.
I would have loved to have seen a bit more of her in the 60th. Of course, she couldn't have come back as the Doctor because she literally just regenerated. But I feel like there was more stuff which I feel like she could do from being a past regeneration, I guess, in a way.
Hmm.
Maybe more references or something like that.
Maybe some advice to the next one
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I just enjoy when
I do love
regenerations
her exit
happen, though.
line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I did love her exit line because it was just really fun. It was just tag. Yeah, all right. I thought that was great. I just thought it was nice because usually they're all really sort of meaningful, but it was just real. It felt wholesome in a way because she was just felt at peace that she was letting it go, and it was just I thought it was just really cute. Actually,
It was.
sounds like a literature analysis now.
It was. I think it's one of my favourites ones. Um, hers is up there. I think
Yeah,
up there with the Night Doctor. 'Cause I did like the Night Doctor's regeneration as well.
I want to say that you were fantastic, and you know
Yeah.
what? So was I. I thought that was nice. I really like that.
Yeah. I mean, I did really like the 10th Doctor's one, but it was just too sad. Um,
It was really sad. The 10th
yeah,
Doctor's one was really sad.
yeah.
I quite like 11's though, of just the I will never forget this. I will never forget when the Doctor was me. And
Yeah.
then, boom, he's a Scotsman.
Yeah. And then Peter Capaldi had a book, I think, My First Regeneration
Yeah.
speech. Um, credit to him,
I
but
don't even remember the Peter Capaldi's. I'm
like
gonna Google it.
there was this long speech, but I think it said in there, being kind, don't eat pears.
Oh, never be cruel, never
Oh,
be cowardly. Oh, that bit.
yeah,
Hang on. Peter Capaldi exit line.
that was a good one.
Yeah, it was like this whole. Oh yeah, it was like this whole speech.
Yeah, yeah, very, very
I
good.
remember that it was just. I remember just a never be cruel, never be cowardly. Laugh hard, run fast, be kind. Doctor, I let you go. Boom. He's a woman.
Dun.
He's a woman.
But with Neil Patrick Harris's lines, it was very interesting because like, I think on Unleashed after he was saying that or when I got the script, I've got all these words that I have no idea what they are, like und, dun, like all the little German stuff.
Yeah,
Like it was saying, it was actually like,
like the little
written like that.
accents.
Yeah, with the accent, it was all written like that, and he was expected to learn that. Um, and then yeah, it's just funny. It's funny how he's got to speak like that, but probably my favourite line that he was saying was, when he was doing the dolls bit with like
Yeah.
Amy, Clara, and
Well,
like
that's all right
Bill.
then.
Um, the favourite part, I think was the Clara bit. Uh, the Clara bit or the Weeping Age bit, but probably
Yeah.
all of it. I think he did really good with it.
I feel like that little marionette scene was so cool.
Yeah.
It was such like a really nice way to sort of reference the other Doctors and also make the fandom cry. No, but it's just my whole thing was when he was talking about Clara's death, and it was just that, and she was killed
By
by
a
a
bird.
bird. Because of course, like I remember I watched a clip of her death before I even like watched the episode, before I watched Doctor Who as a whole. So I did not know what it meant. So all I saw was like a bird going into her chest, and then she just screamed silently and then died.
Mm.
So I feel like that's like he perfectly described what I was like. I was just like I was so confused. Bill's death hurt, and the reference to it hurt. I feel like quite a lot.
Mm.
Amy's hurt as well because I know because it's like I could see with David Tennant he tried to like purposefully. It almost felt like he was holding it back because I feel like even though Amy was married, I feel like Amy was one of those characters that, of course, Matt Smith's Doctor is asexual, or at least he sort of confirmed him to be sort of asexual. I feel like he was one of the like Amy was one of the characters that I feel like he had a genuine love for. Like for Clara, it felt like they were very close, but I feel like with Amy, he did genuinely love her.
Yeah,
Same with Rose. If he had brought up Rose in that little marionette scene,
yeah.
oh child.
You Rose was thingied from the mist
Existence.
existence or something. Um, but I think they didn't do that because Rose was mentioned at the end of the giggle anyway when they were bringing up
Yeah.
companions and that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Sarah Jane as well. Um,
Yeah.
but actually, the favourite bit of that little scene with the toy maker was when he was talking about the flux. Oh,
Yeah.
Donna Noble. The flux destroyed everything. I really like that bit. Um, just the
He'd
way
be
he
liking the
speaks.
redheads.
Just the way he
Yeah.
speaks.
Yes, he'd be liking the redheads.
Yeah. It seems to be a lot of those redheads.
I mean, he does want to be ginger. If he can't be, it's just if you can't beat them, join them. If you
Yeah,
can't be them, join them.
that's right.
There you go.
That's right. But I want to see a Toymaker again. I think we will. Hopefully, Neil Patrick Harris is playing the Toymaker again. But
Yeah.
I think it'd be a waste not to use the Toymaker now.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't keep him in that box for ages.
My whole thing is, who do you think picked up the the tooth at the end with the master?
It was me with nail varnish on. I'm joking. Um,
He is in your house right
yeah.
now.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's someone that we haven't met yet.
Yeah. It's because I know that the main theories was that it was Kate or someone said it was Missy.
Yeah.
I would love for Missy to come back. She was so unbelievably brilliant. Michelle Gomez is so unbelievably brilliant. She is everything. I love her so much.
Yeah. If it was Missy, I think it would be a different actor though. I think.
It would I
Do you
I'm not
think?
sure. I would hope that Michelle Gomez would come back, but I'm not
I
100% sure.
I hope so. I mean, I want to see a little sketch between Sacha Dhawan and Neil Patrick Harris because how the master, what happened to the master, and turning into the tooth.
Yeah. I
But
would love to see that as like a little mini episode, or
yeah,
possibly like one of like the audio dramas.
yeah, that would be good. Yeah, you've got. Yeah, I don't know. It's a woman. I know. We know that. We know that. It's a woman.
It's a woman.
Yeah.
It's a woman or a very camp man. Or just a man. I mean, we don't really. I mean, like, if anyone wants to wear nail polish, you go ahead. But the likeliness is it's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah, it's someone. I mean, it can't have been Kate, I don't think, because it's at the edge. I mean, I don't know how they got there while they're walking away
hmm
from it, but I don't know. Like, you've got Miss Flood as well.
I forgot. Fairies. I forgot about her.
We don't know who she is.
She possible. Imagine if she's the next incarnation of the Master. Wouldn't that be really cool? Because it's Anita Dobson as well. Anita Dobson. Oh, she's great.
Yeah, I mean, she is the only one who knows, and Russell, who she is.
Yeah,
Um, and I think we'll find out in the second series next year. I
hopefully.
reckon we should find out next year.
Yeah.
Not this year. Um, I think this series just be focused around the Doctor and Ruby, really.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
I get that.
like you've got the one who waits. Um, I think who's a toy maker mentioned. And someone else. Um, so you've got all these different characters that we don't know yet, but very exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Anticipation
too
is both
very
fun
exciting.
and pretty annoying because I just want to know what's happening.
We will soon, hopefully. I mean,
Hopefully.
I want a storyline, but finish the storyline before their doctor's
Yeah.
gone. Because I guess that in a way that the 13th Doctor had many storylines unfinished, but Russell did it really well in the 60th with mentioning the flux. That was good. How
Yeah.
that was done. But with things like the Fugitive Doctor and stuff, and the Fob Watch, those were two storylines that should
Yeah.
have been finished within the series because the whole Flux storyline was about the Doctor's memories in the Fob Watch. And we think at the end, we all think that we're gonna see him. We're gonna see him at the end because she got it in her hand and she chucks it down the TARDIS. So really, the whole Flux story was about nothing. In the end. Um, but I did like Flux though. I did like the series, but I think if it had more episodes, we may have found out what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be really exciting for to
Yeah,
see
I'm
the
I'm
series.
excited for the shitty season because this will also be like the first season where I actually get to like watch along as they're being released because as I mentioned, I only got into it like last year. So all I caught was the 60th specials.
Yeah, they are good. You'll enjoy
Yeah,
it when it's out on Saturdays.
yeah,
On Saturdays.
yeah,
Um, but as we are recording, tomorrow is Red Nose Day. And
yeah.
there's supposed to be something happening for Doctor Who tomorrow. On Red Nose Day. Um, I do not know what
I will
that
keep an
is.
eye out.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
yeah. There's one of three things it could be. It could be a trailer, which is the most obvious thing, um,
Yeah.
or some sort of Doctor announcement that we don't know yet.
I
Um,
want him to do like a comedy skit, like how they did. I think they did one for Comic Relief before,
did they?
where they like where like the Doctor regenerated about 15 times.
Oh yeah, I think. Yeah, the sketch is the most obvious one as well. Have a sketch.
Yeah, I feel like it would be nice, and also possibly we could then get a flashback to another Doctor, because possibly they could have brought in like an old Doctor to do it or something like that. That would be nice if they did do that.
Yeah, I know they did something for Doctor Who last year. I think they did one for Comic Relief. I think the thing with Davros. I think that was later on in the year. But yeah, whatever it is, it'll be good, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But before we finish, Remy, is there like, do you have a quote that you relate to, or do you have like a favorite one that you like from
I
Doctor Who?
have a few actually. I would say actually that one of them, even though I have said it several times, is probably the "never be cruel, never be cowardly." I do quite like that.
Yeah,
Um, I think I think one of my favorite ones, which is underrated, and it probably explains why I talked about the empty child so much, was just it has the power of a god, and I just sent it to its bedroom.
oh yeah, I love that.
I love that line. I think it's just great. Alongside alongside I like bananas. Bananas are good. Potassium,
Yeah,
because bananas are good.
they
And it
are.
also calls back to Chris Room, which is a game I like because it's just get the banana, Chris. Chris, get the banana, and it's kind of ironic because it's Christopher Eccleston. You know.
Yeah. I remember. I think it was the 11th Doctor and uh River. They were fighting, and then I think the Doctor thought he was holding a weapon, but it was a banana, shooting the banana. um, but that was funny. But yeah, I
Love a good old banana.
yeah yeah, and I think the Ninth Doctor did that as well. Trying to Sonic
Yeah,
the door. Funny.
he swapped it with Jack's Sonic Blaster.
Yeah,
So he went
that
to go shoot a Sonic Blaster, but it was a banana.
was funny. That was really funny. But yeah, but thanks Remy for coming on.
You
Um,
are very welcome. I
and
have very enjoyed it.
I'm glad you have. I have too. But to anyone listening, watching, I hope you enjoyed it as well. And hopefully the 60, well, not the 60. What am I saying? The new series Doctor Who is good. But yeah, we'll see you in the
Yeah.
next episode, and yeah, have a nice rest of your day.
Bye.